Hello, everybody. My name is Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP. And today on Partner Talks, I have Darren Hutchinson from xe.com. Darren, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hey, Rick. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on the show. Been a long time admirer. So Darren Hutchinson, I lead global enterprise for xe.com. Our focus is anything to do with global currency and payments around the globe. And my main focus right now is really on the ERP space and leaning heavily into Microsoft Dynamics.
Okay, great. And xe.com is a really interesting company. And until we sort of met at one of the trade shows a few months ago, I kind of knew who xe was, and evidently I've run into them many times. So maybe tell us a little bit about the company and what's special about what your team does.
You're not the first, and I'm pretty sure you won't be the last to say that. So xe.com, the majority of your audience, Rick, will most probably have gone to our website to check up a cost of travel, how much is it going to cost in euros and so forth. So that is the crux of the business. We've been around for 30 years, and over time we've added additional functionality to the organization. But as I said, anything to do with currencies, anything around moving money globally, that's really where we specialize and focus on.
Let's talk a little bit about your particular group, because that's not your side of the business. You're working with Microsoft partners on the business application side of things.
Yeah, so I lent into the space about 12 months ago. We have actually been in the space, as I said, for 30 years and been providing the currency data technology into many ERPs, into many large brands that everyone would recognize from their armchair. But if I broke it down into three buckets, there's the consumer side of xe, where we provide an app. We've got about 100 million downloads of the app where they can literally move money at a click of a button right in their hand, whether they want to pick that up from a cash payout into a bank account or into a wallet. We then have the corporate business, which I used to lead and transitioned into the ERP space. That area of the business really focuses on those corporations that need to move funds, risk management, hedging strategies, and so forth. And the API team, which I now lead on the ERP space, is taking all the best parts of that, the currency data technology, the payments engine, building that all together and then putting it in an environment where the end user doesn't need to leave that platform. So it's all about inclusive, it's all about platform adoption, whereby you can have the same experience that you'd have on xe.com all within your own technology.
So give us an experience or an example of, let's say, an F&O customer, and how would they use your technology?
So where we've attached our technology is really in the AP space, the vendor payments portal. And we're just focusing right now on the outbound payments perspective across border. So as they go through, pull down those invoices that are due for settlement, they're calling against our API, which is giving real-time rates from a payment perspective. When you couple that with the currency data feed, from a US accounting perspective in particular, you're stamping your invoice with a foreign exchange rate when it's loaded into the system. Then you're capturing a real-time foreign exchange price when you're executing the payment. So it does real-time loss and gain reporting that's really accurate from your accounting perspective.
Okay, excellent. And which Microsoft products do you currently support?
So as you just mentioned, Rick, we're live in F&O and our listings are on AppSource. So we've got the currency data functionality there, and we've also got xe Global Business Payments. We've been spending the last 9 months working on the Business Central application. We had a beta group of clients, so we've really listened to what the use case is, what are we trying to solve, where are the additional clicks, so that we can create a really streamlined experience using as much of Microsoft's architecture as possible, so that it doesn't look new, it doesn't look out the ordinary. You'll see Pay with xe button on there. We're due to go live with that by the end of this month. So working with Microsoft right now to get those AppSource listings live.
Oh, outstanding. So we've got a lot of partners that listen to this show. So I know you're partner friendly. So let's talk a little bit about how you work with partners.
So it's interesting. The traditional partner model for xe has always been a kind of an affiliation. If you look at backtrack links and so forth, the currency converter, That's traditionally our footprint. And what we're trying to do in this space, because the platforms are slightly different, there's a little bit more configuration with the F&O, where the BC platform is more plug and play and an adoption perspective. We're trying to give the BC technology away as free as possible. So that really dovetails into the affiliation partner model, whereby we come alongside the sales team. We are in our own swim lanes because of a regulatory and compliance framework, where we kind of support from that perspective. We're due to release a reseller model. It's still being figured out and worked out, but that will be for the larger corporations, where they can consume the technology and they can deploy it at their own leisure.
Okay, perfect. And a few weeks ago, you and I were both in Scottsdale, Arizona at the DynamicsCon live event and the Partner Marketing Day that followed. Can I get some feedback from you about those two events?
Sure, certainly can. So for me, I've been to many conferences around the world. I've put a lot of miles on the clock recently in terms of Microsoft conferences, getting my awareness, getting my expertise fine-tuned from that perspective. And what I've found is there's certain nuances and differences for each of the conferences that I've been to, whether it's product focus, whether it's user focus, partner focus, and so forth. But what I found from a Doug perspective is really the emphasis on the community. So how do you connect? How do you support each other? How do you make sure that there's a participation perspective? And it really dovetails into what we're trying to do at XE. Like, the amount of people that we touch is a real community. If you look at our parent company, Euronet, and what their mission statement is, it has the words of community in their connection and participation as well. What I personally found really interesting was I was sitting next to a gentleman, another British guy. He was from a Coca-Cola company, traveled from London. Is Innocent Drinks, actually. That's for anyone that's aware of who they are, British band. But yeah, traveled all the way from London, was interested in learning. I'm like, wow, you've made a pretty significant trip. And then my next interaction was with the Microsoft folks. And I got the opportunity to ask those real direct personal questions and be really intimate in terms of where we are. And what was surprising for me, Rick, was the ability for them to ask, what are the challenges right now? What are the concerns that you have? And being able to articulate that and address those face on it's invaluable experience. Then for dessert. So now we're coming to the final day. We're on to the marketing day. So that was special. That was special. I brought another member of our team in, and it was his first experience into the Microsoft space as well. What was amazing from that is Keith from Microsoft was there. So we got a real sense and an understanding of how Microsoft looks and observes and addresses certain situations. And then you just looked around the room and the brands and the organization and the people that was in the room. It was extremely impressive. There was so much sharing. There was so many tricks and tips on how to address certain things. One of the areas that I personally love when you're in a day session is, how do you break that up? Because it sometimes can be a little classroom learning with presenters, but the fact that we broke it down, and it changed the dynamic of the room, because there was a collaborative, you start getting creative in some of the little breakout sessions, some of the workshops and so forth. And I guess the thing that sits with me is when we learned around AI and Chat GPT, we learned how to create a song in the voice of Michael Jackson doing a value proposition. So it's pretty unique experience.
Well, Darren, I want to thank you for your time today, coming on to Partner Talks, and I really appreciate you giving us the feedback on DynamicsCon and the Partner Marketing Day. So I just want to tell you that we'll have you back on sometime later this year to find out what's going on at xe.com.
Awesome. Cool. And if anyone needs to reach out, you can visit us at xe.com ERP. I love to chat about this space. I love to chat about payments. So Darren.Hutchinson at xe.com. Don't be a stranger.
Okay. Thank you, Darren. Bye for now.
Cheers, Rick. Take care now.